In today's video, we'll be discussing on how to fill a DS-160 form. Now, before proceeding, like what exactly is DS-160? So DS-160 is required whenever you have to apply for any kind of visa. So any visa which includes L visa, L1 visa, L2 visa, B visa, F visa, any kind of a visa which you're applying for, you will first need to fill this form, and with the help of this application, this will form basically your starting step. So yeah, in today's video, we'll be talking about how to fill a DS-160 for the L2 visa holders, and let's get started. So like here, I'll be sharing my screen. So the first thing that you see here is like a link. So this link I'll provide in the description box below, and this link also you can access through like Chrome. You just have to simply type in DS-160 form, and the first link that pops up will be the link. So here, like, you have to first select the location that you'll be applying for this visa. Now generally you can there are many options to choose from. For India, like if you're applying for India, you can see there are 5 or 6 centers where like you can choose from any of them based on your preference and wherever you are living. So let's select India, New Delhi for now, and here you can apply the captcha. So yeah, now there are two options: to start an application and retrieve an application. Now what exactly is the difference? That if you're starting a fresh application, a new application, you have to click on this step. For those people who have already started an application and they are in somewhere in like in between, and they have already completed few steps, they are like yet to done the remaining steps. So for them, they can do it via retrieve an application. So let's since we are filing it anew, we can just click on this start an application. Now here, like you have to type in one security question. Now the security question can be you can choose from any of these like any of this list. So this is basically 2 level of security that is provided. So any question you can select from the drop down, and like based on that you can just have any kind of a name. So for now, let's select the answer as ABC, and we can continue. Now before continuing, one important thing to note here is that your application ID is generated here. So now before proceeding, you can note down this application ID. You can take a screenshot of it, because whenever you have to retrieve an application, or whenever you have to like start again, like if you have to save this kind of application, you will need this application ID. And so it will be like helpful if you have that in hand, and if you have taken a screenshot of it. So yeah, you have to save this number and you can just continue. So here the first thing, so if you see here in the left side, there are so many things that you have to fill from, but let's start from the first step. So to fill this step, it is like mandatory to have your passport in hand, because like all the details which are required, they will be filled from your passport, and you have to provide the exact like exact name, exact details, everything exactly same as which is mentioned in your passport. So any kind of discrepancies like in the name, in the spellings, will not be like it will not be in your favor. So like it's mandatory you provide the same name and same everything like whatever is there in your passport. So yeah, surnames you can easily get from your passport. So like since I'm just filing it as a demo, I'm showing a demo, so I'm just filling any details, but you have to be very careful while you're filling these things, and everything you will find in your passport. So this you can select a do not apply if there is like full name in your native language, native alphabet. Generally this is not applicable for most of the people. Then have you ever used any other names? So that is also a no in most cases. Then telecode you can put as no. Yeah, then accordingly, like whatever is applicable to you, male or female, you can put that. Marital status also, like whatever is applicable, you can select from this menu. Like mostly for L2 visa holders, if you are like if you're applying, if you're a spouse of an L1 visa holder, you have to put the marital status as married. That is like mandatory. And date and place of birth, now this also has to be very exact, and this has to be same whatever is mentioned in your passport, so you can put that. And Like state you can put as UP, and here also you can select any of the place where you're living in. So yeah, so after doing this step you can just save that application. That will just save this part of your like details, and so that like if in case the link crashes or something goes wrong, then at least this up till this part everything will be saved. So that will like prevent you from an additional like additional work. So you just have to save it at every point wherever you are filling the application. Then let's get to the next step. So here like you have to again, now you have to select the region of origin. So this is the place where you are born, or the citizen, like the country whose citizenship you have. So in our case it is like India, we can have India here. Then do you hold or have any other nationality? Now this is for the people who have like two nationalities simultaneously, or more than one nationalities. If you have, then you can put a yes, but in most cases that's the answer is no, so you can just have that. Are you a permanent resident of a country or region other than the country of origin? Means if you are a member, or if you have a citizenship, or you have the like a green card or something of a country apart from whatever is mentioned over here. So if that is a yes, you can fill that, otherwise it's a no. Now national identification number, so all these things like whatever is asked here, you can see the details here. But generally in most of the cases, if you're filing it for the first time, or if you have not visited like US anytime before, then mostly all these things will be a no for you. You can have a do not apply, this also as a do not apply, and this third one also. But if in case you have been like if you have stayed in US for some time, then you will be having these three details and you have to provide them accordingly. So yeah, the US social security number is a kind of ID which is valid in US, and you'll be having like every person who is living in US will be given a SSN. And like if you have lived into US sometime before, then you'll be having this SSN, so you can provide it here. But if you're a first time visitor, then you can have it as a do not apply. Now let's get to the next step, and before that let's save this. The third is the travel thing. Now here like you have to mention the purpose of your trip to US. So if you are a L2 visa, like if you are applying for L2 visa, you have to select this intra company transferable. Means like your spouse have been transferred from one company, like when he was working in India, he has been transferred from that company to the same company in US. And like you can have this selected, and from the drop down you will have two options. Now if you are a child of that L1 visa holder who is above the below like who is below the age of 18, you can select this child. Otherwise if you're married to that person and your spouse, then you can select this spouse of L1. And here like if you see here, it will be asking you about the principal applicant information. Now principal applicant will be the person who is living in US, means the L1 holder. Your spouse will be the principal applicant, and you have to provide his name and his details. So the surname, the given name. Now everything will should be exact match of the passport of your spouse or your parent, whomsoever you are applying on behalf of, like whomsoever behalf you're applying the L2 visa for. So the same details should be present here. And this application receipt or petition number, this application number, so anytime your spouse has filled this DS-160 form, he'll be having that application ID which I showed you in the starting. So you just have to take that ID and you have to provide it over here. Now this also should be done with very precision, because this application ID should match to whatever he has filled when he was filling his DS-160. Then have you made any travel specific plans? Now if you have already decided on the date when you'll be visiting US, or if you have some kind of some kind of a timelines where you are planning to go, then you can provide that. If you have not made any specific travel plans, then you can select a no, and you can just tell the intended date of travel. So intended date of travel means this is just you are not sure, but you're just giving the intended date. So you can select any date, like whichever is suitable for you. You can select that, and you can tell the time, like your length of stay in US. So mostly for L2 it is for 3 years applicable, so you can select for 3 years. Otherwise you can select on your, like whatever is most applicable to you. Yeah. In the next step, it is asking for the address. Now address where you will stay in US. So this address you can provide the same as your spouse where he is living currently. So if he is like already there in US and he's staying there in staying somewhere, you can take that address, you can provide it over here. In case he's not, like he has not found any place to stay, or he is still like searching for any place, then in that case you can provide the address of the company in which he is working for. So you can provide the company address over here. And like if he has like if he's living into any city, any state, then you can provide that. And yeah, zip code, whatever, so everything you will get from that address. And yeah, the next thing it is asking is the person or entity who is paying for your trip. Now if this trip, like if you are paying for this particular trip, then you have to select self. If any other person is paying for your trip, suppose your spouse is paying, or any other person who is living in US, or your company, suppose you are like employee of some company, and they are paying for your trip, so whosoever is paying for your trip, you have to select that. So like since let's take for this example, if we are paying ourselves for our trip, then we can select a self. And yeah, we can save this much application. For travel like companions information, it is asking that person who are traveling with you. So if you have other person also traveling with you, then you can select a yes. In case you're traveling alone, then you can select a no. Then okay, have you ever been to US? So again, like it is as applicable to you. You can select a no if you're a first time visitor. If you've already visited and you have been if you've already visited, so then you can select a yes. If you have ever been refused a US visa, then you can select yes, otherwise like a no. So mostly these are no for the first time people who are applying, but in case it is applicable to you, you can fill as and when which is applicable. Then yeah, address and phone information. Now this address and phone information should be the address where you are currently staying. So yeah, you can provide the home address where you are staying currently in India. So like whatever city. So you can provide that, the postal code, the country, region. Is this the mailing address? So mailing address will be the address where you will be getting or receiving the mails related to any, like any documents, any visa documents will be mailed to this particular address. If you want, then you can select a yes. If in case your mailing address and your home addresses are different, then you can provide your mailing address as a separate entity. For phone numbers, so you have to provide a primary phone number which will be your first point of contact, and if you have more phone numbers, then you can provide as a like a secondary phone number. In case you don't have any, then you can have a do not apply work phone number also, like if it is applicable. Then have you ever used other phone numbers? Then yeah, it is as per applicable to you. You can select a no for this. Now this email address should be very important. It should be same as whatever you are having, like so everything will be mailed to your email address, so you have to be very careful at this particular step. And have you used other email addresses? So again, that is as applicable. For the social media, now if you are active on any of the social media platforms, so you have a list in the drop down. If you're active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or any of the social media platforms, you have to select that particular platform, and you have to provide a link of your Facebook profile over here. And like the same thing you have to do for the other things as well. Like if you're active in Instagram, you can have it over here, like the link you can provide of your profile here. In case you're not active on any of the social media platforms, you can select a none from the drop down. And yeah, Then you do you wish to provide information about your presence on other websites which are not listed in the above step? In your case, if it is applicable, you can select a yes. If it is not, then you can select a no, and you can save this application and continue. Yeah, now passport and travel document type. So this passport, like, you will be having various options to choose from. In most of the cases, we fall in the regular category, like all the passports which are given to the people, they are of regular type, so you can select a regular. And here you have to provide your passport or document number. So like, this should be filled with like with high most precision, because this is very important, and this is every time you go into every, like, any visa related appointments or anything, this is always checked. So this is very important. And like, do not apply. So passport book number, it's generally not applicable to most of the people, as it is written here. You can select a do not apply. Then this all these things you'll have in your passport. So wherever it was issued, whichever place it was issued, you can mention that, and the date when it was issued. So like, you can see all these things in your passport, it will be written, and you can provide any information. Have you ever lost or had it stolen? Okay, so that is also, like, depending on your case, you can select. Then US point of contact. So US point of contact is like, if you have any person who is there in US, and you can provide the contact of that particular person. In case you don't have any person, for L2 visa holders, mostly you will be having your spouse or your parent living in US, so you can provide the contact like, in the contact person name, you can provide his or her name. But if in case you don't have any of the contact information, or you don't have any person whom to contact, you can provide your employer address, or any company who is calling you on behalf of whom you're going to US, so you can provide those details here. But if you have someone, then you can provide that. And the organization name, you can maybe select a do not know. And relationship to you, again, you have to select it, like whatever is most applicable to you. In case, like, you select a spouse, it will ask for the address and phone number of your point of contact. So you can just have the same address which you provided in the previous step, like where your spouse is living, so you can provide the same again here. And like, you can provide a US. Okay, state, you can select any state. And phone number, again, you can have it, whatever is the phone number. The email address of your spouse, so you can have it any, or you can select a do not apply if in case it's not applicable. And what is it saying? So you have to fill all these information very accurate, otherwise it will not accept it. And the pin code and everything, that will be just the address whichever he provides to you. So now you have to fill in your family information, which includes your father and mother. So your father and mother, if they have their passport already issued, then all these things you can copy as it is, whatever like it is written in their passports. If in case they have not applied for passports yet and they do not have the passport, you can just have it like whatever you have. So surname you can provide on your own, your father name. The first name you can provide here. So yeah, the first name you can provide here. His date of birth, so you have to select accordingly, like your father date of birth you can provide. And is your father in US? If it is yes, then you can have a yes, otherwise a no. And so mostly, like, if you're applying for L2 visa and you're a child who is below 18 years and your parent is living in US, then again you can like select this as a yes. But if it is not applicable to you, then you can select a no. Again, your mother, the same details you have to provide. You just can see it from their passport, otherwise you can fill it on your own. And do you have any immediate relatives not including parents in us? If you have any immediate relatives apart from your spouse or parent, then you can select as a yes. Otherwise, if you don't have any, then you can select a no. And do you have any other relatives? So you can select a no here. Okay, now here you have to provide your spouse related information. So like whatever is your spouse name, the surname mostly is the last name, and given name is your spouse's first name. Then the date of birth you can select. um, what is it, that spouse country or region of origin. Now this is the nationality. Keep in mind that you do not have to fill like the country where he's currently living in, like instead you have to fill his nationality or the country whose citizenship your spouse is. So if your spouse is a citizen of India and he has the nationality of India, then you have to fill that. You don't have to fill US here. You have to fill the nationality. The spouse date of birth, again, that you don't know, then you can select accordingly, otherwise you can fill that. And this is the country and the place where he's born, so everything you can fill that. And spouse address, so in like if your spouse, if whatever address you have filled in the home address, if that is same as your spouse address also, if he's living in India, then you can fill that. Otherwise you can fill the same as the whatever is the most suitable according to you. So if he's currently living in US, you can put that as same as US contact address. If he's currently living in India, although he has the visa, then you can put that as a address here. So this is the most recent address. Then in the occupation, so this is the present work. So if you're working into any company, or you're working as a software engineer anywhere, or you are into, if you're a student or anything, whatever is applicable to you, if you're a homemaker, you can select that. So whatever is most applicable to you, you can select that from this drop down. So you can select a homemaker here and we can save. Otherwise, if you're like an employee somewhere working in like currently working in some IT company, then you have to put the name of your employer. So this will include the current company where you are working for, then the street address of your company, the start date when you started working into that company, your monthly income, and what type of duties you are performing there. Like you have to briefly describe your work, what work you are working on, what kind of feature you are developing. So everything you have to, like in short, you have to give a brief description. But if that is not applicable to you, you're just a homemaker, you can select that. If you are like you can just see from this drop down list, and whichever is applicable to you, you can select that. So for now, let's select as a homemaker and put it into save. Then go to the next step. Were you previously employed? Again, that is according to you. So if it is a yes, you can like the same information it will be asking you. If in case it is a no, then you can have it as a no. Let's keep it as a no for now. Have you attended any educational institutions? So this is mostly like about your schooling, about your 10th and 12th. So if you have, then you can select a yes, and you can provide the name of your school, the address, the city, and all these details here. If that is not applicable to you, you can select a no. So like everything you can provide. In case you don't know about the date of attendance from and date of attendance to, you can put like a lump sum idea you can give, like when you started, the month, like the date should not be very much specific, but you can give a very close date, and when you ended your education. So yeah, that is like it should not be exact, but it can be approximated. So yeah, let's select a no for now here and continue. So now it will ask that if you belong to a clan or tribe. If you belong to a clan or tribe, you have to select a yes. In case that is not applicable, so a no. The language, now list of languages you speak. So just have it over here. So whatever languages you know, you can add it, and you have this option to add another. So if you have like multiple languages, you can add that. Or if you don't, if you have one language, then you can just add that. Have you traveled to other countries or regions? So yeah, that is also as applicable. Let's select a no for now. Have you belonged or contributed to any professional, social, or charitable organization? If it is applicable to you, if you can select a yes, otherwise a no. So yeah, specialized skills or training, if you have any, you can select a yes. Have you ever served in military? Again, that is also applicable. So all these things, they are mostly like as applicable to you, you can select that. In most of the cases, that's a no, so I'm just putting a default value as no. And the next step is security and background. So this is just to verify that you are not a threat to us. So you have to read each and every question and you have to answer accordingly. If you have any communicable disease, like all these things, if that is applicable, you can select yes, otherwise a no. If you have a mental or physical disorder, then again a yes, otherwise a no. And here also we put as a no. So these all questions, so mostly the answer of these questions the no, but you can just read all these questions on your own and you can just try to answer them. It's just a test of, like, if you are not if you not bring any harm to us. So yeah, that's all about it's about. Are you a member of terrorist organization? Again, that is a no. Let's select. Have you ever sought or obtain or assist others to obtain visa entry into the US? So if you have assisted anyone or if you have helped anyone, like, you can select a yes, otherwise mostly it is not related, so you can select a no. Have you ever been removed or deported from any country? So yeah, that's also as and when applicable. Then have you ever withheld the custody of US? You can select. Have you ever voted in US? So that's also, like, in most of the cases all these answers are no, so I'm just putting it like that. But you can just read it and answer whatever is more suitable for you. So now we are done with the application. Now it will just give you this application to review. So in case you have filled any wrong information and in case you want to edit any of the information, you can just go through this page. You can see whatever you have filled or the details are correct or not. And like, you can just cross check whatever you have filled and if it is right or wrong. And like, you can just do a next. And yeah, once you have you are done filling the application, you can just like, this is the end mostly. So once you are done, everything is fine and everything is well, like, it's as per as whatever you want. So you can just cross check, and once you are ready to submit it, you can just go into the, you just click into this and it will ask you to enter your passport number. Now this passport number should be same as whatever you have mentioned in the application earlier. So you can just put that up, like, passport number here. You can put this code and you can just sign and submit the application. So once you're done with this, your DS-160 will be signed and it will be submitted, and you will receive a mail, like, in your mail address you will receive a mail that you have like, completed the application and you are good to go for the next steps. So whatever are the next steps, that we'll talk about in the next video, but for now, like, that's mostly it for the DS-160. So you can ask your questions in the comment section below and I'll reply you back. Thank you for your time.